Today's video, I've got a trick I'm going to show you for the best way to anchor stuff into concrete.
Hear that? That's the sound of money. You wanna know what sound of money is? That's it. Ching, 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 ching. Ching, 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 ching.
I know I hadn't done this the other day. I wanted to give you a good look at this. That's what it looks like. That's our washers with the wall. And then this is what the dryers with the wall is going to look like. You can see we painted that whole wall. There's the ceiling. And over here, got that all painted. More what that now looks like in the ceiling. Spot in the corner we missed. Now you want a tip. Here's a tip for putting stuff in concrete. If you don't have a red head or some type of screw that can actually bond and dig into the concrete surface, the hole you've drilled, what I do is I take a piece of wire, and that's what's right here. I take a piece of wire and I will actually insert it in the hole, bend it, and then I'll use just a regular screw, just like that. See if I can get it to stay with one hand. It's always tricky with the camera. Then I take my fancy dancy impact. Let's give it a heck. Voila. It's nice and sturdy, it isn't going anywhere. Locks it in. Sometimes I'll cut off the pigtail. There we go. Just a little tip for you. Caught my drill, thank God. Just a little tip for you, so if you ever run into that where you don't have something, but you got the bit to drill the hole, the carbide bit, and you got some wire and a screw, it would work with a nail too. I learned this when I was on a construction job building a bridge. We use this technique for actually attaching formwork to the concrete superstructure of the bridge. And you might say this won't hold up. I've seen this stuff mounted upside down on the underside of a bridge, and then we pour the concrete on the top plus the rebar. So it will hold up. I've seen it on bridges that are a couple hundred feet off the water, a couple hundred feet off the ground, overpasses on the interstate. I've seen that. I didn't believe it at first, but it really works. So anyway, just a little tip for you there. Now one thing I had to do to bring it up to code is, you see those 3 lugs in the center there? That's hot, and that's hot. If you want to make it, it's actually, this is a 3-phase panel. And then your neutral bar is right there. Well, this laundromat doesn't have 3-phase. So what these folks did, and I'll pick it up here, they put a jumper. So they connected one of the hot legs to the neutral, they connected one of the hot legs to the middle bar so that everything was hot, which is fine, except that overloads the other lug, because if you put too much stuff on that lug and it's doubling up, you're really not creating 220. You could have a breaker that has, instead of 240, it just has 120. It's kind of a mess, plus it can overload the transformer at the pole. This is a big no-no. I never knew it was like this. This got caught when they, we had to take all this off and show that it was dead from the main panel. Because this is a sub panel. The main panel is way up there at the front, and it feeds this back room. Well, we had to show that this panel was dead for us to get the power back on, because what they were afraid of is we turned the power on and all this stuff in here and these tubes and all this conduit was melted, it would start another fire. They were very worried to that. Well, it wasn't the case, but we found this problem. Now, you'll find these things, you won't know about them. And I looked this place over when I bought it. I thought I knew everything. I never took that cover off. I never knew. Everything worked just fine. And all the breakers, they're just regular. There's a couple double pole breakers, which is what these are, for 220, and then you got singles. There was no 3-phase breakers in there to say, hey, what's this? They totally just did whatever. So that's the kind of stuff you'll find. I wanted to show you that. That's something you got to watch out for. Not good for you. But hope you like the video.